Okay, so
Yes,
then
sir.
now we'll look at the syntax for a for loop. We'll get to while loop, but we'll start with the for loop. So we will just say, right, for loop for, right, for you have to use a keyword called for, and then there is a space, and you have to give a variable name. You have to give a variable name, and then in, you have to use term called in, and sequence, followed by, just like for if condition, right, we have taken four spaces, and the four spaces is called what? Indentation. So after that you have to write your block of statements. Okay, now this for is a reserved variable. So when you use a for, it knows it is a loop. In is also a variable. In is also a default keyword. Okay, now this variable is basically, it can be defined by you, right? You can name it any way that you want to, x, y, j, whatever you want, you can name it. And the sequence is on what you want to iterate, is on what you want to iterate, right? You are saying like, you can iterate over strings, on every character you can iterate. You can iterate over less. There are other which we have not seen. You can iterate using a function called range also. You can basically specify number here on how many times you want to iterate, on how many times you want to iterate. So the example here would be, if this is the syntax, the example would be for I am making my variable as I. This variable is called what? Loop variable. Loop variable. I in range of 10. So what are we saying here? I for I in range of 10. So the range function always starts with 0. And if I've given 10, so it the ends with 10 minus 1. 10 minus 1, which is 9. So it is going to be 0 to 9. So I can just say print I. So for I in range of 10, meaning for I in range of 10. So range of 10 is basically a range between 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this is our range 0 to 9. So for in the first iteration, in the first loop, the I value would be 0. Okay. Now we have printed. So there are no other statements to be executed. Okay. Then it goes to the second iteration. So here now earlier it was the range was 0. We started with 0 between 0 to 9. And now it has shifted to from 0 to the next element, which is 1. Now the I value would be 1. So initially it prints 0, then it prints 1. Now after this execution is completed, then it moves on to the next element. So which is our 2 in this case. So it will print I. So it prints 2. There are no more statements. It goes to the next iteration, which is 3. It prints 3 and it keeps on going until it reaches 9. So after 9, since there is no other element, no other value, our loop stops. Our loop stops. Right. So that is one is range function. Since we all also know strings, since we also know strings, right? Strings are indexed basically, yes. So indexing is based on, its indexing always starts with what?
0.
Zero.
Right. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. These are our indexes. So if I have to loop through each value here, each character, so this is how I'm going to write my program. So how am I going to use my loop? For I in range function I'm going to use again. So here, how do I know the length of the string using a function called len? Okay, so then there is colon. In the next line, I'm going to take this 4 spaces, which is our indentation. Here, I'm going to say print of name of I. Now tell me, what is the range of len of name? What will be the range now?
Force.
What is the length of the string?
4, sir.
Length of the string is 4. Now, what did I say for the whenever we use the range function, it starts from 0 and all the way goes to the number. So here we have given length of name would be 4 and it ends at 4 minus 1. So the range would be 0 to 3, in which case 0, 1, 2, and 3. Does it match with the indexes that we have?
Yes, sir.
Right. So in every iteration, what did I tell? First it will get 0, then it will get 1. Your I loop variable I would be in the first iteration, it will be 0. In the second iteration, the variable will change to 1. In the third iteration, the variable will change to 2. And in the fourth iteration, the variable will change to 3. And since it reaches the end of the range, it is not going to loop any further. Now, name of 0, what is the value? What is the value?
J's.
Name of 0 is J.
J's.
Name of 1 is O.
O.
Name of
O.
2 is H.
H.
And name of 3 is N.
N.
So we know, but with each character, we can access the character with index. We can access the character with index. Now, if I execute this, it is going to print JOHN in each line. Okay.